Welcome to the Local Marketing Source Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com.
This week's Local Marketing Update is brought to you by Scott Gallagher. Scott is the co-founder of Local Marketing Source and has become the recognized expert in providing online marketing services to local businesses. Follow Scott on Twitter at ScottGallagher5 and on Facebook.com/Scott P. Gallagher.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source. That's always fun when you're having internal sales meetings inside the office and you are trying to get a presentation off the ground. We were just having a meeting about a new sales rep that we're bringing in, and sometimes, you know, when you have a partnership, you can play each other off. And I was sharing with you all. I said, "I'll be the jerk. I'll be the jerk partner." Sometimes you need that. All right, guys, let's get going here today. We've got a couple of things to talk about, and then we're going to get into just continue some of our discussions about sales and growth. And, you know, this is an interesting business because I can't think of any time in my history that an industry has changed so much. I've been in this business for 11 years, and it's done a full circle. 11 years ago, I was trying to sell SEO to small businesses, and I had to explain to them what SEO was, and I had to convince them that their customers were actually going to use this internet to go and find businesses. And I can't tell you how many times that people have said to me, "Oh, my customers don't use the internet to do that," or "Oh, that doesn't work," or, you know, "Oh, I don't do that." Or it was like, to me, it seemed really bizarre. You know, this is 2005. The internet had been around for 10, 12, 13, 14 years at that time. A lot of people were on the internet in 2005. Let's face it. But to sell the service, it was very, very difficult. It took a lot of different education to educate your prospects and in different ways and whatnot. And they took chances on us, you know. And then things started to change. And here we are, 11 years after I started in the industry. And now it's very, very different. That we're not trying to educate what SEO is, but we're trying to clarify what it is because there's a very misunderstanding of what SEO really is. You see, our industry is a big industry. It's a $63 billion industry in the United States that are spent on internet marketing by small business. It's a lot of money. It's a big industry. So there's a lot of players all over the board. But in this world of SEO, it's really one behemoth that we're all trying to push around. So there's $63 billion thrown into some economy into the United States of America to push around Google. And Google does not want to be pushed around, and Google doesn't get a dime of this $63 billion. It's kind of a fucked up industry, isn't it? That you're putting 83% of all your eggs into this one basket of Google with their market share. And with a little flip of a switch, little change of an algorithm, Google can upend this entire industry and shut it down literally overnight. So, you know, this whole SEO game has always been a cat and mouse game, trying to figure out what's going where, why things are doing that. And it was probably 5, 6 years ago that my light bulb went on. My head was banged against the wall, and I said, I can't be in this business forever. I can't be chasing this algorithm and keep learning this stuff, nor can Google. They don't want that. They don't want to be pushed around. They exist because they are the best company that is able to go out on the internet and organize the world of its information. In fact, that's their mission statement, to organize the world of its information. That's the mission statement that Larry Page and Sergey Brin set out in 1996. They wanted to do a better job of organizing information. Imagine that. Thinking one day we could be multi-billionaires if we can organize this information a little bit better. Remember the Dewey Decimal System in libraries and all that? Jeez. So, you know, I'm sharing some of this story because there's some things that have changed and some things that haven't changed. And human beings, us as individuals of human beings, you know, we've got the most basic ways to influence human behavior. I want to go and get laid. Pardon my language. I want to go get a date. I'll be a little more politically correct. Good thing I'm not regulated by the FCC on this podcast. But what do I want to do? I want to influence a woman's behavior to give me some of her time. Okay? I got to sell myself. I want to go get a job. I got to influence somebody's behavior. I want to take a friend to a ball game that's not a fan of baseball. I've got to influence them in certain ways. I've got to teach my child how to be responsible and how to act and how to grow up as an individual, so when he does go out into the real world, he's mostly prepared. I've got to influence his behavior. I've got a daughter that really wants me to get a dog, and I'm not too sure about it right now. I got to influence her behavior. You know, this is what we do, human beings. It's all we do. It's the greatest thing we've got is our ability to influence other people's behavior. Some people do it unethically and immorally, but it's just the nature of being human. And so we've got three ways to do that. You know, we've got words that we say. We've got our tonality, you know, the way you talk to somebody, how you convey your messages has a lot of strength to it. We got our physiology, our face, our belly. And each three of those have a different weight in the ability to influence human behavior. So this business of selling SEO is our job to influence small business owners to give us their money. Right? We got three ways to do that. The easiest way is to type an email, to create an autoresponder, to do an email blast, to do some advertising, post in some forums and whatnot. But you see, that's only 7%. That's digital. Those are words. People aren't hearing your tone. They're not seeing your physiology. So I get students that buy into my program, and I've never stopped on it. I spent a good 3 years of my life in my agency, and I tried everything that I learned at Local Marketing Source to try and make it profitable for One Marketing, and most of it does not work. And now I get it. You know, I wish I knew that 3-4 years ago when I started this venture and realized I built so many different autoresponder channels for an attorney, for chiropractors, for dentists. I've got a very, very sophisticated ad program. I've got great lists. But the fact of the matter is none of these digital mediums work very well if there is not a personal relationship first. So I've gone to trade shows. I collect business cards. I come back. I email those people that I met. They see my name. They engage in my email. I've got personal engagement with them. I've got the belly to belly. And you want to grow in this business, you've got to find ways to get belly to belly with prospects. That's the bottom line. All right, so some updates this week. There wasn't a lot. That's why I wanted to talk a little bit more about sales and just get that into your head that I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them with the LMS students. You know, well, what about this? And then I go through the discussion. I say, listen, why even pay for your monthly membership fees? Why pay me $100 a month? If you're not going to listen to what I have to say, I'm not the best that's out there. I know that. But every Local Marketing Source student that has ever built a business, take Scott Meadows out of South Carolina that works with dentists, Efren out of Toronto, Hayden out of Australia, Josh out of Miami, Matt Coffey out of New Jersey. Matt Coffey started his agency in 2012, or maybe it was 2011, but I think it was 2012. He's doing $750,000 a year right now. Josh Nelson, he's doing between $2.5 and $3 million a year. He started in 2011. All these guys have gotten their business belly to belly. So I'm going to start firing local marketing source students that just keep trying to disregard that and keep trying to throw some mud at the wall. Guess what? I've thrown the mud at the wall for you, and it doesn't stick. Now, doesn't mean that these channels don't have value. What I believe is these channels support those relationships that are built belly to belly. All right, so Google, you know, they like to change things as much as I change my underwear. Every day you're finding different things that are changed in Google, and they go back and forth all the time. I remember, man, that there was a time that we all felt like Google hired the best engineers in the world, the smartest people on the planet. It was NASA. Google was recruiting from NASA, as a matter of fact. They had the smartest engineers on the planet. You had to be brilliant to work at that organization. Well, either A, they lied to us, and you don't have to be that smart, or B, these people aren't as smart as they think they are. And when we see changes at Google, sometimes it just baffles me that they go back and forth for certain things, and you wonder, they're really just figuring a lot of stuff out themselves. You know, it's a cool little story. I actually had Bing, the vice president of Bing, call me 2 years ago to interview me and ask me questions. I actually took a video recording of that conversation. It was so awesome for me. And when we got into a conversation, that's Microsoft, right? It's a big deal. It was a big deal for me. May have heard one of my podcasts or whatnot. I don't know. I don't care. But what was awesome about it was getting into the discussion that what these search engines are really looking for is to replicate the organic marketplace. And the best form of marketing always has been and always will be word of mouth marketing. WOM, W-O-M. You know, have you guys ever eaten at a restaurant that does no advertising but is always busy? Sometimes they've got a line and it's hard to get into. I mean, every community has a couple of those restaurants around, and they're just great restaurants. They serve good food. They've got good staff. They've got a good service. And so that's where I talk about my busy restaurant syndrome. The search engines are looking for the busy restaurant syndrome. And when somebody has a good meal, then they've got good service from it, they go and tell people. And then more customers come. Well, isn't that what good business should do? Give a good service, get paid, make a profit, deliver a good service again. It's simple. But unfortunately, too many people focus on other areas of a business, in my opinion, and not necessarily the customer first. I think if you focus on the customer, profitability will come. And that's what Google did. Let's create a good search engine that organizes all the information, and we'll make money one day. Remember back in 2000 how many people mocked that company before they had their IPO? They had their IPO in what, 04? Yeah, I sigh myself because I wish I had 10 grand back then. That was before I even moved to the US. I was broke. I was eating ramen noodles. But changes. You know, Google now has added the ability for people to find your AMP pages in Google search. What are AMP pages, you say, Scott? Well, if you're in search, you probably should know what AMP pages are. And if you don't, put out your right wrist and give yourself a little bit of a slap right now. These are called accelerated mobile pages. And, you know, we've seen in the last 2 years some pretty awesome changes from a mobile front recently. You know, mobile compliancy and mobile friendly sites and, you know, different results on mobile as you're seeing. And so in Google Analytics now, when you go and start to look at the AMP pages, Google is reporting in their search console and inside of analytics, it is showing a variety of search analytical data. They're going back. They're coming back around. Now they're starting to show us search phrases. Remember the not provided in search phrases, what it was? What, 3-4 years ago? We would know every single keyword that somebody used to search to find our business. It was gold for SEO people. You could mine stuff, and Google started to quickly realize, oh shit, people are using this to manipulate us. So they started to pull it back, and every month it was less and less and less. Last time I checked, it was about 75%. In other words, Google only tells us now 25% of the keywords, and then they group the remaining 75% into a not provided field. Little trick that people don't realize is outside of analytics, you go in the webmaster tools and you can dig down and get a lot of those search phrases. That's where the gold comes in. But now Google's coming back around, and at least for the AMP pages, they're showing us a lot of this information, which is pretty awesome. You know, a lot of value in that. Other than that, there really wasn't a lot of changes this week. Search engines, the SEO marketplace has been pretty quiet. So, I could try and talk for another 2 minutes here. I always try to hit a 20-minute podcast, you know, for every week. But I'm not going to fill and waste some time. So I'm just going to take a moment, and I will be right back and answer any questions that you guys have in about 30 seconds or so.
Well, thanks for watching the Local Marketing Industry Update. We've got these things coming out every single week, so if you liked with what you heard, just click the button right above me right here to subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to get a little bit more, right over here, go check out localmarketingsource.com. We've got free reports that you can grab. You can even register for a free marketing course to get in and see the portal. Or just go ahead and follow us on some of the social channels. We'll be around. Until next time.